Hello everyone, I'm AndyDavo and we're going to look at a replay analysis video. If you've been following along Twitch, you'll have noticed that this month the games haven't quite been going as well as they usually do. So I'm going to try and take an extended look at some of the games and the games that I didn't win and see why we're not doing very well. Am I the unluckiest Blood Bowl ever, or am I making a load of tactical flaws and they're now coming out in the dice? So this particular match is me playing Necromantic. We'll put the skills on. And I'm playing off against Undead. We are playing around about 100 TV uphill, so they've got fame and we've got a bribe to compensate. This is a particularly tricky matchup at low team value because we're playing into 2 strength 5 mummies versus 2 strength 4 flesh golems. It turns out that one's already got block and both of them have got guard. So if I just pause and just quickly talk about the overall strategy for the game as I see it now and as I probably saw it at the time. The Undead have received... Let's put the skills back on again. There we go. The Undead have received, and they are going to be looking to try and stall out and score on turn 8. I want to get value out of the bribe, and I'd very much like to get rid of one or both of the mummies. Probably the best way to do that is to knock them over, ideally with a wolf, and then stamp on it with several assists. What I would be looking to try and do is push my opponent. If I can control the centre area here, if I can then make the opponent take the ball down a flank, then we will split their team, which makes the ball extraction a lot easier. And bearing in mind he's got a lot of guard, getting to it while it's inside a cage is going to be impossible. And also, the 2 wolves here and here are then going to have extra threat because we'll be, by default, playing in this sort of area around here. So you should see me targeting this area quite considerably. And I won't be looking to push the ball straight away. So... let's see if we can get some fouls off, and also let's see if we can control the centre. That's what I should be trying to do here. One last point for me is I've put the flesh golems on the line of scrimmage. I think maybe against Mighty Blow twice. If I lose a zombie here, it's not the end of the world. If I lose a flesh golem, that seriously hampers my ability to be able to do well. So I think here, in retrospect, I think we should swap the flesh golems and the zombies around. And also, the reason for going quite wide on defence is not to try and stop them running down the sideline. It is, in fact, so that if we got a blitz and a short kickoff, if the ball landed in this area here, or conversely on this side, we can then take advantage of it with a couple of players. So you'll have seen that the wide kickoff events have been set up and said, oh, you should defend the flank straight away. No, you shouldn't. So let's see what happens here. He's going for the ball. I've spotted here, both in the replay and at live, if we notice this. This is definitely surfable. So I'm going to take a pause for a second again and just look at the options we've got to us. He hasn't picked the ball up. So option 1 is, can we actually go and get that ball? Is it safe? Can we go and put pressure on it? And then option 2, if the answer is no, or we decide we're not going to go for it, well, can we then go and try and extract some value? And I think straight away, when we're looking at this, and I'm looking at it now, I want to be throwing that block there. The only way to throw that block there is with 2 assists in that square, 2 squares out of those 3. Well, that then tells me that that's got to be the blitz. Now, I did look at this and say we could blitz here, and if we got the push, then we could push it into that square there, and then we could get rid of it. And the way to make the decision here is, what is more valuable? Getting rid of that guy, or potentially getting a foul into that guy? I think you can then make the right decision, and we should see me blitz probably the zombie on the left flank. So let's see if we go for that. The final thing to just quickly look at is, can we get to the ball? I think the answer is no. We're not going to lift this out of the way, and then we're not going to be able to blitz both of those players, so the ball is completely safe. If you wanted to hedge your bets a little tiny bit, you could throw the block here as the first action of the turn. If you've got a push and you knocked it there, then do you want to go for the surf? I still think no, because I think hitting the mummy is more valuable, but that's something you could certainly consider. So let's see what happens. We don't get the push anyway, so it's not relevant, but we do get the removal. So clearly this result I must be the most unlucky player in the world. Now notice we can't blitz from this square because of the guard here, so we've got to come straight forward. So that assist is here, not here, so that we now make blocking 2 into 2. We'll keep the wolf slightly back, and then I think we should just push 1 zombie in, probably into sort of here. Then we get the 2 dice, then we get the 2 dice there. So now we've got this on the floor. I'm thinking right now, can we foul this? I'm clearly not thinking that in the real world, but I'm certainly thinking that right now. So what I've actually gone there is, we'll take 2 dice there, and then we'll use 1 dice with block to hit this guy. Free move to bring that across. And we get the push. So it's a 1 in 6 to knock me over. And that's actually turn. So I've managed to take some control of the centre without putting any threat on the ball. I think it's an alright turn. Our opponent here really needs to cover the ball before throwing any dice, and certainly trying to pick it up, in my opinion. 2 dice block with blocks, probably about as as risk averse as I would go. I like that. That's probably the right sort of turn ordering now. And all while my opponent's making those last moves, what I'm looking at here is, how can I pressure this? If he goes wrong, can I pressure this ball? Can we get, for example, can we get a flesh golem free so I can get 2 dice on the ball? Am I going to be able to swing a wolf round? Yeah, these things at the moment are no, but how do we change that turn so we can get into here? So now we know we can't really, we can look at this and say we're not going to hit the ball. Decisions need to be made again. Am I blocking here and trying to deal with this, or do I go and look at this sort of combat zone here? A nice way to try and break your turns up is to look at the board state in lots of little sort of mini games. So we could treat this as 2 different board states really. Everything on this side is one, and everything on this side is another. Now, let's look in detail at the left-hand side, because I think if we give away lots of blocks, we'll be in trouble. So let's see if we can solve this again and try and get blocks in. If we can solve it without the blitz, we might be able to then do additional damage in here with either a wolf or something else. So we've got 1 dice there. If we're prepared to, we could swing the wolf into here and take that as 2 dice. At that point, we could then step the zombie in here and take 2 dice here. Once we've cancelled that out. I do like the box shape here, so maybe we can do something with this, because that's currently 2 dice against. But if we cancel the white with our white here, we've got 1 dice. I think looking at this with sort of fresh eyes, probably I'm blitzing here. I'm probably blitzing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we take that down, we can then get 2 dice here, because we've cancelled the assist here by running this guy around the top. And we can, once we've got the 2 dice there, I think we're probably taking 1 dice there and stepping this in. It's not a great turn because of the guard. The strength 5 guards are really, really making this hard work. Interesting to see, to think that I've played this game out once, and now I'm looking at it from a replay perspective. This game was played probably a month ago in terms of real time, and I genuinely haven't seen this game since. So I don't actually know how this plays out other than the final result, because I saw that when I loaded the replay. I am looking for games that I didn't win to see what I can find and improve my play. So we didn't get the knockdown there. If we did, I think I'd be fouling. Fouling here is not such a good look. And again, I'm just trying to consolidate the centre. Not bothered about this sideline here. In fact, I would like him to push into me. Really do want to try and control the middle. It's a shame that's the mummy with block. So that's not a turnover or a reroll. And you can almost see, I think, or hopefully you can see that if he did push down this sideline with the ghouls, the faster players, these players would be left behind and we would effectively be splitting his team. So he goes for the 1 dice, that then sets up 2 dice on this guy. And immediately I'm looking at this now in the replay, thinking, oh, that's quite a tasty target, because it's on its own. We can hit it with 4 dice with a block player. And if we can get it on floor, it's a high value player, it's got guard. And we trade that off against what can we see over here. So let's have a look at this turn. What can we do? Bearing in mind that I know he doesn't want to go and score. He doesn't want to go and score. He's not going to be moving the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can get Wolves are movement 8. So that would be 7 to here, 8 to here. That's fine. So that tells us that the block square is going to be those 2. So the assist logically goes there. That gets me 6 dice on this ghoul. And if you've done any sort of maths calculations, you'll know that 2 dice block with block against a dodge guy, you've got 2 different outs. That's a 55% knockdown. If you're using frenzy, that's an 80% knockdown. And then if you don't knock it over, we've got another 55% on top of that. So you're doing rather well if you haven't knocked it over at that point. Or doing rather badly, sorry, if you haven't knocked it over at that point. There's a frenzy trap over here. We've got 1 dice at the moment into what would be 2 uphill if we don't fix it. But we can block this way. So I think we're probably blocking away and probably dodging. Last things to consider, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 dice, 1 dice, but it doesn't lead anywhere. And the ball recovery isn't particularly good. So I don't think I would take that on looking at it now. And I suspect I probably didn't take it on before. Very last options, we could block here if we can cancel the assists here. And then maybe we could stick something in there for a 1 dice. It doesn't have blocks, it's a little bit risky. But it would then unlock the 2 dice there. I think that's a bit greedy. I think the better play is to run away. Then step in there and block straight forward while blitz and fouling this guy. And I guess how did I decide that the blitz is this guy? Well, it's a high value target, low in a low turn number turn, so we should be able to start extracting good value out of these players if we can get rid of them. So it's down. Pro tip: if you want to do maximum damage while fouling, the way that the foul assists work in this version of the game is that your players that are not stood in tackle zones provide an assist. If you're stood in a tackle zone, as long as you cancel the assist for the player that is in the tackle zone you're standing in, then that doesn't count. So for example, if we stood in this square here, because this zombie is cancelled by this flesh golem, we could foul from here and then we could put 3 assists here, here and here. But if we swap those 2 round and we foul from here and put an assist there, well, that assist doesn't do anything, so you only get 2 assists. So we can effectively make that ghoul's armor 7 minus the 3 assists, so armor 4, we break it on a 5+, and then we'd remove it on an 8+. 5 plus 8 plus, it's about 45%. I think it's probably more like 40 actually. And we're trading it off against being caught of about 30%, so there's a good value here for me. Unless that happens, of course. Never mind. Being sent off with a foul with a bribe, I think, is around about 3%. And what it also does is it swings the turn a little bit, so we don't finish our turn off, and we've lost a player. So instead of getting rid of a player on 35-40%, we actually lost one on a single-digit percentage, which is a bit rough. Thankfully I've got a bench, so it's just down for this drive. And we're good. And I think it also shows that I talked about at the beginning, if you don't isolate and control the centre, look what's happened now. From a defensive point of view, I don't know whether he's going to come this way with the ghouls, he's going to come straight forward, or is he going to try and knock back into the centre? I don't know. It's certainly a difficult situation. However, I think this is the first turn that I've just seen something maybe a little bit interesting, and this is where you can use stand firm and chain pushing to your advantage. Now, you can't stand firm while you're on the floor, but if you watch any of the streams that I do, you'll see me talk about T-shapes and boxes. We've got a box there, and we've also got a T-shape just here. And, I'm sorry, and we've actually, got a different T-shape, beg your pardon. We've got a T-shape just here. And what that means is that because all the squares are filled in, you've got control over where you chain push someone. So we'll take the box as the example. And let's say I put an assist in that square there, and I blitzed from this square here. Now he's going to fall in one of those 3 squares. That means I can push the flesh golem next to the ball. If the flesh golem then stands up, he's got stand firm and block. He's a bit difficult to take down. Maybe we can do something interesting over the next couple of turns. Notice we've also got a T-shape just here, so that if I can provide an assist in that square, or that square, the zombie can then block that way, and we can push one of the 2 mummies away from the flesh golem. So he's only got 1 hit. So this guy needs to stand up. and the other flesh golem needs to come in there. So I think that's probably what I'm looking at right now, and some combination of pushing this mummy away and standing this in here makes a lot of sense. Now, just to add the sort of the flourishes on here, or just make sure we've got the optimization right. Let's say we want to blitz. We want to use the most damaging player, that's the werewolf, so that we know that this is going to be the next assist, that's going to go there. Well, that means that's going to get cancelled, so we need to put in player in here, and that means we need to open the turn with that block there, so that this white is over here, so that when you get the hit, and you're stood in that square there with the white that you've rolled the push on, you get an extra hit. So it's kind of important that I get the turn ordering right here, which I kind of hope I do. But yeah, think about your turn ordering. It's an awfully important set of stuff to think through. If you get the turn ordering slightly wrong, you can create some really bad situations for yourself. I think that was a mistake, because look what's going to happen. He's just going to walk in there. This should have been all the way around here. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should have been there. That's a mistake. So that there, I think, is the right move, because you've got to do this move. And so although you're blocking without block before you're blocking with block, it's because you're setting up something hopefully intelligent in the next hit. Doesn't pay off on this occasion, but it was still the right move. And look, if I follow here, that's just going to tag the wolf out. That's terrible. That's a really bad mistake. Really poor. But I've not really seen too much other than that I've really disliked so far. If you have, please leave some comments in the section below. And if you find these sort of videos interesting, they do take a little bit of effort to make. So let me know and I'll make more. Or I'll just post more replays from Twitch. So I have got what I kind of wanted, which is to push him down a sideline. And one thing you can do here once you've got a bit of frenzy and stand firm is maybe I'll be able to find some way of being able to push these players out of the way. And this guy's only 2 squares off the sideline. Now imagine the werewolf was stood round here right now. Suddenly that ghoul is looking a lot more under threat than it does right now. So let's have another little pause, see what we can see. At the moment, I think we've almost got to open with that block, and then do we step a white forward and take 2 dice and then try and free all this up, or is there something else that I can do? So I think if we blocked here, we could step 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me 2 dice. If we don't follow that up and get a pow and knock it there, we can then got 2 dice there. If we get a pow, suddenly we might be able to get something through and have a go at the ball. So let's see what the first set of dice are. And because there's a lot of divergence on this turn, sometimes if you've got 2 minutes and you need to think through things quickly, just spot a play, and then it is a case of roll the first few dice and see what happens, because you might have 3 or 4 different lines of play. It takes an awful lot of brain power to think them all out, so just roll the first couple of dice and see what happens. Well, that's not my advice every time. Sometimes in turns like this, when the turns are quite complicated, I think it has to be. So we've rolled really well so far. And because oh my word. So because of all these hits now, look what's happened. We've suddenly cleared our way through, and because we were sort of super careful by not following that up, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we've got 3 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go for it 1, go for it 2, surf the ball. Now I was super lucky there, right? We rolled all 3 pows, but we left ourselves in the situation to be super lucky. Will we fail the 3-up dodge? Or would we not? Another interesting thing is, well, would we take the 3+ dodge on if we'd use the reroll in that sequence? Probably not. Okay, that's unfortunate. It's kind of unfortunate. So we got really lucky with the knockdowns, and then we got reasonably unlucky, I would say, with the block dice result. It was just a void of 1 in 9 twice, well, avoid a 1 in 9 and avoid a 1 in 6. So avoid a 1 in 9 and a 1 in 6 on each occurrence. Right. This turn here, I think this is one of the super critical turns to get right from a turn ordering perspective. Realistically, this is going to be really difficult to solve because if you throw the block here, your wolf might still end up pinned. If you throw the block here, it's 2 dice into 1 dice because of the guard. And how are we going to solve this? Well, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go on. I want to do that. I want to do that now, and I want to put a tackle zone on it, which is rather suggestive of the fact that we then need to clear this. We've got 1 assist. That one does have block. So I think the blitz here is there, because then that kills 2 of my fast players, and then lets me do something with my remaining people here. Keeping this guy tied up is super important for the turn. Yeah, I know a lot of people will be like, well, we could blitz here. We could, but I think this is the prize. I think that's a little greedy. I'm not sure if I like that. In hindsight, I'm not sure I like that. Oh, wow. I do not like this line of play at all. So I'm setting up for the blitz being here. And that's also super greedy because that hasn't got block and the ball is here. So I think, yeah, this is super greedy. I don't like this at all. Because they're giving myself the chance for the dice to screw me. He can just pick this ball up and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 up, 2 up to score. I'm not sure about that at all. Not once we've cleared this, right? Go and fetch the ball. And if I fluff the pickup, I'm going to be stood there holding the ball. Nah. Don't like that turn. That was too greedy. Too greedy with too much risk. So we are looking good to score, but I think that's a lesson that I can take away, which is when we have turns where the ball is on the floor, the focus has to be on that. And for some reason, whether it was a lack of focus during the stream or whether it was just incorrect prioritization, I can see that now, and I need to change that for future games. It'll be interesting to know whether that happens more and more on this run. Now, that's really annoying, because now, if I want to go and score, if we just stop the replay here and just look at this, right? I need to score, or I say I want to score, and if he had rolled a push there and followed up, that's fine. This wolf is stood on its feet, and I can just block it off. We need to blitz this guy, which means I have to dodge here. And at the moment, I almost have to dodge straight along the sideline. And imagine dodging, failing the 1 in 9, ball landing off the 4th pitch on a 3 in 8, ball getting thrown on down here somewhere, and then he's like, well, that's the perfect stall. Thank you very much, score. So this is bad. I think the correct turn ordering here is, apart from standing the stuff up there, is to go and stick something in here, blitz with probably this white, 1, 2, 3, bang, stand this guy up, and then stand this guy all the way around here, so that what we've got is I'm accepting of the fact that I haven't got much screen cover for the ball, but if it goes wrong, again, if it goes wrong, I've got to deal with a fail state, and the fail state is horrendous. Yeah, I need the fail state to not be horrific. Yep. Now we need to dodge into this square, so the white has to move first. If we want to follow that up, fine. That's to cover a bit more of failed state. So yeah, fine. Do not make that. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. Yes, I was really unlucky. I've been unlucky in a couple of places this half. We got the sending off. We got the failed 1 in 9. He's also been unlucky in a couple of places. I got the 3 pows when I needed to be able to surf the ball. And I also got a double 1 from him, which put us in this situation in the first place. So I think, all in all, we've both been unlucky. And sure, You could argue it either way, right? But that's my own fault. I'm 1-0 down because of my own fault. And I don't recall thinking that at the time. So we'll skip past the setups and just try and keep things a little bit more interesting. We've had a Riot kickoff event, which has given me a 2-turn chance. Now I can't send the screen pieces too far forward. I've got no rerolls, so this is pretty exciting. Didn't set up for a Riot. The 2 wolves are here and here. All I'm going to do is I'm not going to pause the replay, but I need to be stood here. I know this because werewolves are movement 8, and a natural 1-turning guy stands there. That's 13, that's 12, that's 11, that's 10. Well, werewolves are movement 8, plus 2 is 10, so you need to be stood here. We're just trying to knock this out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if he makes the 3-up pickup, I've got the ball carrying scoring threat, another werewolf that's just scoring on a handoff, and a white that can score. I think they go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Yeah. So we've got 3 different scoring threats. Something that keeps coming up, and honestly I don't know the answer to this, is what's better, a 3-up or a 2-up, 2-up? I know they're very, very close, so I'm just going to have a quick look. 3-up with a reroll is 66, and 2-up, 2-up without a reroll is 69. So you should always take on the 2-up, 2-up version rather than the handoff 3-up. I suspected it was the case, but honestly, it's one of the really simple ones that I just don't know. And learning basic probability is super important to being a successful Blood Bowl coach. Now, all this should be irrelevant, because all we need to do here is clear this guy. At the moment, in fact, we're going to have 2 different choices. We've got the werewolf that can throw the block, or we've got the white that can throw the block. Now, how do you decide which one the right one is? Considering this is going to happen in 10 seconds. You go with the white, because if you roll the 1 in 9, you'd roll it with a werewolf anyway. If you roll a push, you might end up rolling another set of block dice that you don't want to roll. So, yeah, if you don't need to roll dice, don't use Frenzy. Okay, 2-up, 2-up. This is a 68%. Well, a fail. So, nope. So we're going to go in 1-0 down at the half, which you might think is harsh, but actually was entirely avoidable. Okay, so strategy-wise now we've got two different choices. We can try and play out the draw, or we can try and push on for the win. I feel like, considering we had the opportunity to take the ball off our opponent, I would like to play this out for a win. So that means scoring probably on no later than turn 12 to give me 13, 14, 15, and 16 to score back. So we need to get a positive kickoff event, or certainly not a bad one, because otherwise the momentum is going to be horrendous. We've only got 4 ball carrying players, and what we have potentially got here is is a T-shape on this side. If we can get this werewolf to go and blitz from here with a flesh golem in that square there, we could put an assist there, an assist there, an assist here. Sorry, here, and we could bounce into the stand firm, and we can hit the okay, and we could hit the mummy on 2 dice with claw. That's completely been torched. Never mind. And something that I have noticed, but I haven't understood, is look what happens when you put all your players on the line of scrimmage like that. Perfect defence. Slam, you're dead. I've got no way of getting out of this against guard teams. So, I had sort of seen this in replays when I've looked at them, or games that I've sort of noticed. If I leave all my players on the line of scrimmage and I don't have guard, I'm going to be screwed. Do not do this. So, you're leaving yourself open to being unlucky. Now I have gone and covered the ball, ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not a great blitz. And look what's going to happen if we roll the push. There's going to be a wide open gap here. I would describe my players suboptimal right now, and then being crunched for it. Yeah, I don't like this play. 48% chance of rolling the power on the ghoul. Actually was lucky, but using the reroll is terrible. So that was not good play. And if we're prepared to throw one more 2 dice block, we can then have another 1 dice block here. And this is broadly asking for trouble. That one was definitely bad because I haven't got block. So I was a bit lucky. I think that play was tilted, if I'm honest. I think that play was not great. Well, if you're an opponent here, if you know that you have got an advantage, which you have because you've got the 3 guard players, then I think sticking all the way back here is probably not playing into your strengths. So these ghouls all need to come forward and need to pressure the ball. And he can start guard locking me a bit more and getting some more hits in as well. Keeping the zombies on the mummy, so the mummy is providing guard to them both. So if they stand up, they just get walloped again. That is also good. So that was good positioning. He could have pushed me over here and that would have been bad. There's a cheeky 1 dice. And already I'm starting to feel a little bit under pressure. There is a box here which I can probably manipulate out. Yep. That gets me the flesh golem up, and actually that gives me both of the whites back now. Game is going on over here. Partly because the mummies are over here, and partly because this is a lot easier to throw hits at. A lucky pow. Problem is going to be, if I just pause for a second, if I throw that block, that ghoul is free to move. How am I going to pin it? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've probably got to use this guy, so that's got to be the blitz. That suddenly got harder. And that push there is probably to enable me to blitz this guy. Slightly greedy, but probably required. Blitz here. And it might even be worth fouling this guy. Maybe. +2. It's very valuable. +3. Yeah, if he's playing for the win, yeah, I'll take this on. Okay. And that should be good enough because yeah, these 4 players are all traded out. They're not going to be relevant to the rest of the drive. Smart play from my opponent bringing the mummy across 3 squares. However, it has now just got itself stuck on a flesh golem. So actually what we've got, use the minigame analogy earlier in the game. 1, and you can't see it because of the circles here. 1, 2, 3, 4 players versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 4 versus 7. I should be scoring here. And I should be scoring with no trouble. If you're him, I think you should acknowledge that fact. We should block straight forward and get this white up here to give you an extra player back. Because this is not relevant, right? Unless you're saying, fine, you go score, I'm going to chase damage. Not relevant. Right, we should be scoring in 2 turns here. So we said we were going to try and score on 12. This absolutely nailed on should be a score on 12. So let's have a quick look at this. And just think about how we might actually do this, because it's probably one of the most important turns in the game. So swap these around. Right. So we know the zombies are only movement 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first zombie can get anywhere along that line. We need to count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the ball needs to go there. So ideally the ball might just sort of sit somewhere in that square there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, actually that means the ball is going to sit on that line, because the 2 whites need to stand as the front screen and the zombie needs to stand as the back screen, which means that that's probably the blitz. Probably. Because it gets me the werewolf around the front. The greedy version of this play is to say, yeah, screw all ball safety. Screw that. We'll throw a block without block straight away and use one of our rerolls, because that's a bad idea. And we'll follow that bad idea up with another bad idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go for it. And then we'll blitz there. You know, super greedy, really bad idea. Let's use our rerolls when we're going to need them on defense. Let's see what I do. Let's see. I've got a horrible feeling this is a terrible play. Oh, God. Yeah, this is a terrible idea. So we'll double down on bad ideas. And we're going to use the werewolf to blitz. And we're going to use, so that's going to be a block. And we're going to then try and use the whites as screen pieces. We'll run this guy around the side. And we're going to blitz here. But this is going to leave this werewolf open. Can you imagine if that was a 1 in 9, right? And imagine this is not an armor break. I'm going to leave him with a 1 dice block. He doesn't deserve a 1 dice block. We had this. We could have had it inside a screen. So he ended up staying put. So he's actually 2 dice uphill, thankfully. He opens with a 2 dice uphill. Sorry, a 2 dice block. Gets the skulls. We go score. The only thing we could potentially do here is blitz with one of the wolves into the mummy, and I think that's probably one thing I think I will do, and it's also a thing I think I would do, because a claw hit on a mummy is definitely valuable. Just trying to cover fail state since we're taking this guy away. Let's do here. It's got a block. Score. Nope. Be more greedy. Now score. It's an interesting, for me, this is interesting watching this back, because it's sort of an insight into, I'm quite a greedy player. I hadn't quite appreciated quite how greedy I have been in this match. Whereas the lower variance plays, while would pay off on the upside slightly, well, some less, they'd also have a lot less downswing. And something I've been complaining about on stream, or commenting on certainly, is how unlucky I've been. Maybe it's I'm just taking on lots of variance plays, and at the moment they're either coming in for my opponent or not coming in for me, depending on which way around you look at it. Same thing again, we put flesh golems on the line. Imagine losing one of these off the line of scrimmage now. I'd be in big trouble. Yeah, the block one specifically. Down it goes. I knew one of them died. I didn't know it was this game. Alright, great. So that's a 7-star player point flesh golem with block. And this was game 5, I think, from the run. And we've had it killed. That's a pain in the ding-dong to replace. And look at how much it's just knackered my position as well. That could have been a zombie and I wouldn't have cared. Stop putting the good players on the line of scrimmage. And how am I going to force him down a sideline in 3 turns? 4 turns. So we are kind of obliged to stand these up, not because I want to take the hits, but because if we're going to make anything happen, we're going to need to disrupt the playstyle of our opponent. We're going to probably have to swing into this, which is a real shame. Just pausing it here, and I don't know if I saw this in game, but what we could do, 1, 2, 3, 4, blitz, come in on the sideline. If we get a push, we're now creating and using a T-shape, and we could push the flesh golem into the ball. Is it a great idea? Well, it's not. It's not terrible. It probably gets taken down, but it might use some resources. So, I either didn't see it or didn't go for it. You do get the break. And again, I'm going to try and control as much of the centre as possible because I want to try and get him to split his team and get him to move elsewhere. Yeah, go down a flank so we can then split your team. He's going to step up there and take the 2 dice. Well, he should have set that there. Yeah, that was a misplay. And presumably he's going to continue to try and own the centre. And this is looking pretty bleak. I know I don't necessarily do quite well in this game. I'm going to say, spoiler alert, I'm going to give you the result, but this is not looking great. And then all of a sudden he just, what? This will be worth a pause. Okay, let's see if we can find 2 dice on the ball here. Let's see if we can find 2 dice on the ball. I think it's there. In fact, it is there. I'll give you a moment to see if you can find it. Probably worth you pausing the replay if you can't. It is there though. So first of all, let's stand that guy up. That cancels out the assists here. We've then got 2 dice here, which means it's going to go there. If it's a push result, that's fine. It just gets pushed there. We follow up anyway. That gives me control of this critical square here, right? I'm now stood there. If we then throw a block here, you can push that white into that square there. And I don't care what's happened to it, right? It's just like taking out the garbage. I've just got rid of it. At that point, you then do have 2 dice here. But maybe there's something even better on. Because maybe we can find 4 dice using a werewolf. Look, if we can come in here, we've got 2 dice, 2 dice. Sorry, we've got 2 dice. But then we haven't got another 2 dice. Because we're not providing... Yeah, we'd in fact, we'd be actually 2 dice uphill. So we're probably going to get pushed, if I now take some of this stuff off. We're going to come... We'll assume that all those dice have happened so far. So we're going to come in here, right? We're then going to go south, which means that we can push that way. So I've got 1 assist. He's got 1 assist. So if I've got 1 assist, if I can put someone in that square, we've then got 2 dice, 2 dice. Because I've got 2 assists. This is cancelled out by my wolf. And the guard is being counterbalanced by my 2 assists here. And look, if it also goes into that square there, this wolf has got a load of assists and blocks. So actually we get 2 dice from the first hit, frenzy up 4 dice. Then we get 2 more dice from the first hit on the second wolf, frenzy 4 dice, another dice. And we've also got a team reroll. We've got 10 dice on the ball right now. And all we need to do is open our turn with that block there. And he needs to rotate into that square there. And that's if we don't get a knockdown on the white and we end up having to throw that block. If we don't, maybe we even get more dice because the wolf creates, pushes the ghoul in that direction, and this white here might also have a go. So we really, really, really should get the ball on the floor here. I don't know what the maths are on 12 dice on the ball, but they're probably pretty good at even at 30% a hit. If anyone does know, please leave a comment in the section below and let me know. So there'll be no reroll because we just wasted it on a 1 in 9. We didn't get the white down, so we have to go and hit here. Imagine this is both down now. It's not. And in fact, actually, I hadn't factored in here. This is just 2 dice because you push south, the wolf is cancelling, and we've got 2 whites being in assist, so I don't actually need to sort this out. So 2 dice. So long as we avoid the 1 in 9s, we should take the ball down. 2 more dice, so that's 4. Then we get this guy. And on this, on the 5th and 6th dice, we now get the ghoul on the floor. I think the scatter could have been a bit kinder, but we haven't got any edge 3 players to pick the ball up. And at this point, I think you kind of almost have to foul, right? I think we're throwing a foul into... I'm throwing a foul into this now. Yeah. Double 3, but the stun's good enough. It's fine. Pause, Les. Okay. So what we got here is he needs to try and work out how to lift this out of the way. Actually, he can do that by pushing here. I think he should scatter onto the ball. Yep, nice play. I think he's now possibly a little unlucky with a scatter, but if it was scattering from here, those 4 are actually... In fact, no. It wasn't an unlucky scatter. He didn't have any good squares. Oh, turned stand firm off because he should have pushed me here, not followed up and walked through the gap. Stand firm turn off there was suboptimal play by my opponent because now he's got to dodge. And it's also just worth noting here, and just pause this for a sec, and I don't know how the rest of this plays out, but imagine we can get the ball up into this area here. The 2 ghouls are here and here, and well, 3 ghouls, sorry, are here, here, and here, right? And a way that you can try and look at the pitch is if you clicked each of the players. So we click on this player, and I can't because it's his turn, but if I, when you're playing live, you can, and you'll get a box, and it will come up, and it will show you where the ghoul can get to, right? And if I do the next one, it's a box, and it will show you where the ghoul can get to, and it'll be like this. And then this ghoul will be able to get to somewhere like this. Well, that tells me, look, there's an overlap of that sort of area here is just completely free of ghouls. So, well, that wolf can easily get into that square. So that's where I want to go. If we can get the ball somehow, I want to be up in that corner. But I think there's a long way to go. Not helpful. Not helpful. Right, 2 dice block. We're going to need to put a wolf up there to be in scoring range if we want to win the game. It should also follow to try and tag out the mummy. Because that's stuck, that's stuck. So if I want to win the game, I've got to throw this. This is probably throw the block to win the game, roll a bad result to lose the game. That block there. Oh, this is saying wolf pick up, back to wolf, run round the corner. So 3 up, 3 up. That was 4 3-ups in a row actually, because there's two 1 dice blocks, which are effectively 3-ups, a 3-up pick up and a 3-up handoff. We've still got the reroll. Okay, we've still got the reroll. Okay, and then. Oh dear. Well, I actually needed to. I needed to go for it to score, and I think, considering he could have blitzed me and pushed me back, that was probably the right result. And again, I think I was unlucky just there, but we did make the 4 3-ups in a row to get to that position. So, yeah. Right, I think the rest of this game's a bit of a dud, so let's just quickly wrap up. My opinion now, looking at this, I shouldn't have been 1-0 down at the drive. I shouldn't have gone for the slightly greedier score. I should have defended. If I'd have defended, it'd been 0-0 at the half. We go in and then score 1-0. I win this game, and we move on. And I don't even watch this game as a replay. I am playing slightly too loose, and it then has come up and cost me. I think I would say that on balance, there have been some points of bad luck. But I also think I've been lucky in places as well. And it's my looseness that's cost me this game. Right, what do you think? Please leave a comment. If you like the video, let me know. I'll do some more. If you don't enjoy the video, then I won't do any more, and we'll just go back to uploading on Twitch. If you are new to the channel, I do stream on Twitch on a Wednesday evening, on a Saturday evening and Sunday evening from 4 PM UK time. And it'd be great to have you there. There'll be a link in the channel description below. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you in the next one.